The truth about polar biodiversity and climate change. Polar biodiversity encompasses the variety of life found within Earth's extreme polar regions. These ecosystems host uniquely adapted species, thriving in harsh conditions and contributing significantly to global biodiversity. The polar regions, including the Arctic and Antarctic, are characterized by their icy landscapes, extreme cold, and seasonal variations. Despite these challenges, these areas support diverse and vibrant ecosystems. Unique species in polar ecosystems have evolved remarkable adaptations. From the camouflage of the Arctic fox to the antifreeze proteins in Antarctic fish, these species exemplify nature's ingenuity. Climate change is accelerating the melting of polar ice, drastically altering habitats. The loss of ice not only threatens species, but also impacts global climate patterns and sea levels. Marine life in polar regions is experiencing profound changes due to ice melt. Ice-dependent species like krill and phytoplankton are declining, affecting the entire food web from fish to whales. Polar bear populations face significant threats due to diminishing sea ice, which is crucial for hunting seals. As ice melts earlier and forms later, bears struggle to find adequate food. Seabird migration patterns are shifting as warming temperatures affect breeding and feeding grounds. Birds must travel further, altering survival rates and impacting the delicate balance of polar ecosystems. Fish populations in polar regions are experiencing changes in distribution due to warming waters. Cold-adapted species decline, while fish from warmer regions encroach, causing shifts in the food web. Seals and walruses are deeply affected by the loss of sea ice, which they depend on for resting, breeding, and protection. Reduced ice cover forces them to adapt or relocate. Polar plant life is also changing as permafrost thaws and growing seasons lengthen. New plant species are colonizing these regions, altering the landscape and impacting existing flora and fauna. Indigenous communities in polar regions face significant disruptions as climate change alters their environment. Traditional hunting and fishing practices become increasingly difficult, affecting their food security and cultural heritage. The role of permafrost in biodiversity is crucial. Thawing permafrost releases greenhouse gases, exacerbating climate change. It also disrupts habitats, leading to the loss of plant and animal species uniquely adapted to frozen conditions. Ocean acidification poses a severe threat to polar ecosystems. Acidic waters weaken calcifying organisms, such as shellfish and plankton, which are foundational to the marine food web, impacting higher trophic levels. Warming temperatures invite invasive species into polar regions, outcompeting native flora and fauna. These invasions can lead to a reduction in biodiversity, altering ecosystem dynamics and threatening the survival of indigenous species. Feedback loops accelerate biodiversity loss in polar regions. Melting ice reduces the Earth's albedo, leading to further warming. This cycle exacerbates habitat loss, driving more species towards extinction and destabilizing ecosystems. Conservation efforts in polar regions focus on protecting unique species and habitats. Initiatives include establishing protected areas, regulating fishing, and mitigating human impact to preserve these fragile ecosystems for future generations. International policies and agreements play a crucial role in safeguarding polar biodiversity. Treaties like the Antarctic Treaty System and the Arctic Council foster cooperation among nations to address environmental challenges and enforce sustainable practices. Research and monitoring initiatives are essential for understanding polar ecosystems. Scientists collect data on species populations, climate change effects, and ecosystem health, providing critical insights to inform conservation strategies and policy decisions. Public awareness and education are vital for the success of conservation efforts. By raising awareness about the importance of polar regions and the threats they face, communities can be motivated to support and participate in protective measures. Future predictions and possible solutions emphasize adaptive strategies and innovative technologies to mitigate climate change impacts. Collaborative international efforts are needed to implement sustainable practices, reduce carbon emissions, and ensure the resilience of polar ecosystems.